Hey, what's up guys, Josko here, and I wanted to come up and talk about today's PTB, which is 9.2.0, that came out just some hours ago, and I wanted to just go over them really quickly, just show a few of my thoughts, a few of my concerns. I'm not going to be covering the Myers video or anything like that in this video. That is going to come a little bit later next week, while I'm also working on the Wraith analysis video. So anyways, we're going to start off with looking at the new survivor, who is called V. Bunyasak, and yep, she speaks, and honestly, she's quite pretty. I love her basic model. It's great. They did a really good job. And her perks, if we have a look here now, are going to be Road Life. While injured, not broken, and repairing a generator, gain 1 token for each regular great skill success zone. When you have 6 tokens, spend all those tokens and gain 100% healing speed until you stop healing. And you lose 2 tokens when you fail a regular skill check. Now, I feel like this perk isn't really gonna be all that good, and there are so many other healing perks that, in my opinion, are way better than Road Life. Maybe if they'll add some changes to it, maybe like make the token requirement a little less, or maybe increase the healing speed a little more. Maybe not healing speed. But anyways, I don't think this perk is gonna be all that useful. I'm not too happy with it, and, you know, I think it has so many requirements as well. So, I don't think it's gonna be amazing. The next perk is, which is funny, it's a 1, 2, 3, 4, which is another music perk, kind of like Bardic Inspiration. So you press the active ability button while standing on idle to enter the performance interaction that will last up to 15 seconds and empower survivors that are within 16 meters. You will get continuous skill checks during the performance. The effect will last for 90 seconds if the performance is completed, and you'll have increased odds of getting healing and repair skill checks by 20%. And when the ability is cancelled or the performance completes, it goes on cooldown for 90 seconds. And I honestly think this could actually be a little better. It's not amazing, but it actually can synergize a little bit with certain perks. And the first perk that came to mind immediately was Autodidact. Now, for those of you who don't know, Autodidact works in a way is that when you're healing another survivor that is injured, you will, or just maybe not. Actually, I don't think it's on yourself. That when you're healing another survivor, you will get skill checks, and whenever you complete a skill check, the amount that the bar will increase once you've hit those skill checks will increase periodically by, I think it's 15% per, and it goes up to a maximum of 5 stacks. So you can heal someone with 60 or 70 or 80% in just a single skill check, and I think Autodidact is going to pair really well with this perk. And but otherwise, I don't see much of a use other than a few perk synergies that include skill checks, but nothing too crazy. And her last perk is Ghost Notes. While you have exhausted status, your scratch marks disappear 50% faster, and you also recover 10% faster from exhausted. And I honestly think that this perk isn't anything amazing again by any means, because obviously you won't recover while you're running. But, you know, if you, for example, combine this with a perk like Vigil, some survivors might actually use that on their exhaust builds. Stuff like, you know, people like using Sprint Burst and Light still, so I wouldn't be surprised if I saw people start using Ghost Notes more, especially people who want to stay more stealthy, because your scratch marks will disappear a lot faster. And I think this will pair very well regardless with stuff like Light, or Overcome actually. Overcome could be very good for this perk as well. So now, let's move on. Whoops, not that. Let's move on to the Killer. And the Killer is right here, the Krasue. And as you can see, there she is. Ugh. Absolutely gruesome. That is not her default look. I changed the default look, but there we go. And yes, as you can hear, she also speaks. And we are going to go over the Killer perks right now. We're going to go over her perks first, and then we're going to talk about her power a little bit. So, her first perk is Ravenous. Whenever you hook a survivor... Alright, you do your thing. Okay, there. So, anyways, as I was saying, whenever you hook a survivor for the first time, gain 1 token up to a maximum of 4. When you have all 4 tokens, all survivors scream and are infected with exposed for 60 seconds. Now, on one hand, that could be a good perk, but the problem is that you need to have hooked everyone once. And that's not always going to be possible, so I feel like I feel like this is kind of like a really situational perk. Like, I don't know. I don't know if this is going to be that good, but we'll see. I'm always open for change, but like I feel like all 4 tokens is quite a lot. the requirement is quite big, I'd say, for you to hook every unique survivor once. And then we'll go to Wandering Eye. Whenever you start chasing a survivor, reveal the auras of all other injured survivors within 16 meters for 5 seconds. See, this would be good, but the thing is as well that like I mean, sure, it won't help in situations where you want to like find a tunnel out if they have the elusive status. And if you guys remember from my other video, the elusive status is a thing where aura reading won't work, killer instinct won't work, no scratch marks, no pools of blood, stuff like that. But I mean, it'll definitely work in situations like someone's fixing a gen and then another injured survivor hides, and then maybe you can see them. But 16 meters is quite small in a way, but we'll see. I'm not too sure about this perk though. I don't think it's that amazing. And then Hex Overture of Doom spawns a Hex totem that curses the furthest generator and reveals its aura in yellow. When a survivor repairs this curse generator for 5 seconds, when a survivor repairs the curse generator for the oh wait, no, I understood it wrong. When a survivor repairs the curse generator for 5 seconds, you gain undetectable and your terror radius is applied to the generator for 30 seconds. When the curse generator is repaired, the next farthest generator is cursed. I like that. I also saw Odd say this, but I have same words. That I really like that, like, the survivors can kind of, like, pin down the location of the Hex Totem. So that, like, it still has its counter if you have, like, good enough map knowledge. So I kind of like this perk, actually. In a way, this is cool. I do like it. But it's nothing amazing since it's a Hex Totem, so sometimes you might just get screwed over with the fact that sometimes it'll just get cleansed immediately. That's just the way Hex Totems are. But yeah. So now we're going to briefly talk about her power, and it's called Unbodied Flesh. So she has 2 modes, so she can shift between her body and head forms at will. Body form has a 32 meter terror radius, while the head form has a 40 meter terror radius. The head form is slightly faster, but you can't break pallets and you are not granted bloodlust while in this. So there's this special effect called Leeched, and when you hit a survivor with Intestinal Whip or a Leeching Gland, it will add to their leech meter that they have. If you think about it, it's kind of similar to Unknown in a way, a little bit. And then they're gonna be afflicted with Leeched 1 once that meter is filled. And Leech 1, the Leech meter will just fill automatically. Leech 2 means that they will be afflicted with Broken, and if they're healthy, they will become injured. And special ability is Intestinal Whip. In head form, press the attack button to lash out with your internal organs. This is kind of like a... It's like a mini Demogorgon shred attack in a way. You can still kind of control it, but it's a little difficult. I tested this a bit myself, and it's a little difficult to control sometimes, so it's not always the easiest. So the survivors that are afflicted by leeched, I mean, they can be damaged with the Intestinal Whip, which is the earlier aforementioned thing with the head form. Because if they're not afflicted by leech, you will not damage them. You will instead like start infecting them periodically. But you need to do like 2 or 3 hits to infect them once, and that's quite a lot. So it's you need to infect someone in your body form first before you can actually properly hit them in head form. So and then we're getting on to Regurgitate, which is the special ability in body form, which is this is very similar to Unknown. You will charge up a power, and then you press mouse 1 to attack, and it sends out this like leech kind of looking thing. It's a projectile type of attack, so it's very similar to Unknown in a way. You can kind of orbital if you want to, but it's a very small projectile, so you need to be really precise with it. And hitting a survivor with this will completely fill the leech meter up to leech 1. And there's also glowing fungi around the area in the map that survivors have to eat, so that they can decrease the leech meter over time. And being hit ends the effect. And then there's also Headlong Flight that you can use as a mobility kind of thing in the head form. It does have a limit, though. It doesn't last infinitely. But think of it as like it's a longer Vecnafly, but it does go slower than Vecnafly. Kind of like that. Now, my overall thoughts on this is that I honestly, currently, with all that I've seen and all that I've played, I would honestly dare say that in the PTB at least, Krasue would be somewhere like a very low B tier. or like a mid to high C tier. Not really an amazing killer currently. It requires a lot of prep work for you to be able to do anything. I feel like against a decently coordinated survivor team, even when you infect someone, another survivor will just come over and take another hit. Because if you try to injure them in head from when someone takes a hit, then you're just infecting the other survivor, and the chase is infinitely stalled. And it's really hard, in my opinion, to hit people with head form. Like if they're further away, like it's quite hard to dodge it if you start lunging for it, because you don't have that much control of it. So right now, those are my current thoughts. As for the other updates in this PTB, I'm gonna cover them later. I'm gonna talk about the Myers thing in another video later on. Sorry about Krasue, he's being a little loud right now. But yeah, expect to see at least like one more video talking about PTB stuff. And I really hope that there's gonna be a lot of changes from this PTB, because there's a bunch of other changes, including the tunneling, anti-tunneling, anti-slugging. There's a lot of things to be considered here. So, really interested to see how they're gonna go with this. And I do think, currently, Krasue needs some buffs to be stronger. I just currently feel like she's a little too weak at this current point in time. But anyways, hope you guys look forward to the next video. I'm still working on the Wraith video. Still looking to release it somewhere around Saturday or Sunday. Hope you guys look forward to that. Anyways, I'm gonna try to enjoy the PTB now. Hope you guys enjoy it as well. Thank you for watching this shorter video, and I'll talk to you guys later.